and they tapped you on the shoulder and they said, "What is pickleball?" And you had 60 seconds to describe it to them, or describe the joy of it, or why it's so great, what it is in 60 seconds.
Yeah.
What are you telling that person? The first time you ever played pickleball, like I remember the first time I ever played. A lot of people have a story for the first time they played. Can you share the story of the first time that you played?
Yeah, so I actually was playing tennis in our Eden Prairie Club. And there were these folks on one of the tennis courts, tape on the floor, playing pickleball and begging me to build them a pickleball court. And then they said, "Come play." I'm like, "There's no way. I'm not playing that game."
You were a tennis guy that was like against it?
I was playing tennis, and I said, "But I'll build you guys. I'll take one of the courts and convert it to 4 courts." And we did it in one club, and then I did it in St. Louis Park Club, the second club. And then Emily wakes up one Sunday and says, "I'm going to go play pickleball with Mo, blah, blah, blah. You should come." I'm like, "Yeah, okay, I'll come." So I went and I played about 2.5 hours. And that was it. That's all it took. What's interesting about the game is that you can pick up a paddle and play, and then you can keep learning and you still have more to go. Mm-hmm. So it has an incredible range. The difference between this sport and like tennis, I can't put a racket in somebody's hand and have fun with them for 6 months. They can't hit the ball in a way that you can actually hit it. They hit it, you can hit it back. So it makes it the barrier to entry in so many sports, whether if it's tennis or kite surfing, etc. The barrier to entry is really high, it's tough. Whereas pickleball has no barrier. I mean, you can just get a paddle in your hand and go have fun. You can be 10 years old, you can be 90 years old. Yeah. But what keeps it going, that you can advance, you can get better. So you're never going to get so good to say, well, I've achieved, I can't get any better, I'm good enough. So that allows it to be a sport for everyone. It's a sport that I think everyone can play. I love the fact that when I go to my clubs, I see people from all parts of the world, every color, every shape, every race, male, female, old, young. It's the most unifying sport I've seen in the 44 years I've been doing this.
Yeah. And you mentioned that you almost can never hit a ceiling of improvement, and that's one of the most probably addicting things for people is to keep getting better. What are you working on right now in your own game?
I'm not getting my butt kicked by these guys right here.
we got Chris Olsen and Isaac Olsen, the Olsen brothers in the background.
No, what I can hit pretty much every shot. I don't hit the right shot at the right time. So yeah. The strategy is what I need to work on next. Is to really, my tendency is to try to hit the ball hard. And so, I've been working on myself. Maybe I'll do 2 dinks, and after that I want to slam it. So
Preach.
I need to settle down, and I need to play the strategy more. But I love the game. Yeah. I love the singles game because I am completely soaked, change a t-shirt every 30 minutes. It's very athletic.
Yeah. Well, so you love the game. I love the game. So many people pick up the game and love it so quickly. If you were, just imagine for a moment, you were in a grocery store and you were wearing like a Lifetime Pickleball shirt, and somebody was in line with you and they saw that shirt and said Lifetime Pickleball, and they tapped you on the shoulder and they said, "What is pickleball?" And you had 60 seconds to describe it to them, or describe the joy of it, or why it's so great, what it is in 60 seconds. Yeah. What are you telling that person?
I would say tennis and ping pong had a baby, ended up being called pickleball. It's as fun as any sports I've ever seen. It is, like I said, unifying. It's a good sport for getting fit, gets everybody up and going. Mm-hmm. And I just think it really does what America needed the most right now, is to unify people, to be Not to be Democrats, not to be Republicans, not to be this, not to be that, just to be a pickleball player.
Yeah. Speaking of that, Lifetime has clearly invested heavily. I actually go to Lifetime in Tempe, Arizona.
Oh, great.
And so I've started playing. There's outdoor courts there. There's some indoor courts there. And I go to Lifetime 3 or 4 times a week. So I still play there a lot in addition to the court at my house, which I'm lucky to have. You're clearly investing heavily in pickleball across the country. From a business standpoint, was there a moment when you were talking to family or talking to people in Lifetime, coworkers and people that you trust, that you said, we have to do this? And if there was that moment, can you take me to that moment and what led to the decision for you to invest so heavily?
This is the Sunday I played, the first Sunday. I could see clearly what's going to come. And we're unique. Lifetime's unique. So if you're going to build, we build roughly between $500 million to $1 billion worth of real estate per year. I've been doing it for years. So we're in design, real estate, construction business, more or less. And if you're going to build a facility with 10 courts on bathrooms and reception area, etc., it's going to cost you 15 to 20 million bucks. So realistically, an indoor court is going to cost you $1 million to $2 million, $1.5 million, depending on how level you want to go. If you're going new structure. So at Lifetime, because of so many millions of square feet of space we have in basketball and tennis, I could have taken a portion of the basketball courts and a portion of the tennis courts and deploy. The term is deploy about $500 million worth of real estate that we would have to spend to build from scratch, but it cost me maybe $25 million to convert it.
Got it.
So it allowed me to set a goal of being the largest provider of pickleball nationally for everyone, and have a means to do it. Otherwise, it would take $500 million, and it would take at least 5 to 10 years to be able to assemble that from a time standpoint. We have about 500 courts now. My goal is to have at least 700 by end of the year, and for sure 1,000 by end of 2024. Now, I also know, like all other things I've seen, it's just the typical nature of any business. Is supply and demand. Early on, you can build any court. You can have not enough space in the back, not enough space on the side, poor lighting, low ceiling. Early on, anything works because the demand outstrips the supply. But 5 years from now, you're going to have a lot of these pickleball places who are not going to work. Just like the racquetball and squash and tennis-only clubs never made it through the times. It's not that the sport's going to go anywhere. It's just that the competition will increase. All of a sudden, the demand will mature, and the supply will end up naturally passing it. And then the weak out of that will drop out. So the cost of building a court and then running it, it has to be part of a bigger machine, like part of one of these big clubs. So, sometimes the pickleball helps the business, and sometimes the business carries the pickleball, right? That's true with everything we do in our clubs. Yeah. So we're uniquely in a position to provide this opportunity for Americans, for right now, and we're all over it.
Yeah, that's amazing. Do you? With so many new people coming into the sport, was one of the reasons to build courts at facilities to actually, from a membership standpoint, to get people into pickleball, or was it actually more just that it was just another amenity to the club, but more importantly, it was, from what you said, a unifying factor for people in general? Obviously, you need a business viewpoint on it. I guess, how important is the relationship between just the community and just the business aspect of it?
My situation in this is simple. We first go after serving our member. It's number one goal. Lifetime is not a gym, is not a fitness center. It's an athletic country club. You've been a member before. Yeah. So in that athletic country club, you may want to play tennis. You might want to go to the outdoor pool. You may want to lift weights. You might want to do a class. So all of those things, we try to provide for our member the things that they want to do. So pickleball is one of those things we have to provide. When you think about the number of people playing pickleball versus the number of people rock climbing versus the number of people doing a lot of other stuff, it is the sport that we have to provide for our members. So it's all the above. It's taking care of our existing members, is providing opportunity for somebody new come to say, hey, I'm going to join Lifetime because I want to play pickleball. All of that has happened. We've had people come and join because of pickleball. But honestly, I think I would have also lost some members. So if you played 4 hours a day of pickleball, right? And you did that somewhere else, not Lifetime, eventually you wouldn't be coming to Lifetime enough to potentially maintain your membership. So it's both retention and acquisition of membership for Lifetime with pickleball.
Okay, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing that. Pickleball right now across the professional landscape and the amateur landscape is kind of all over the place. How in the know are you right now, like everything going on? I know obviously we're sitting at the Lakeville, Minnesota facility at a PPA tournament. So there's pros actually on Championship Sunday playing right behind us right now. Are you pretty in the know of what's going on? And then I'll have a follow-up based on...
In terms of like the MLP,
PPA, yeah, everything that's going on.
Yeah, I'm pretty much looped in.
Okay.
We have a small partnership with both. I worked hard to make sure PPA and MLP come together and collaborate rather than try to do different stuff. The sport is too young. It doesn't need fighting in it. It needs unifying in it. We need to have one idea, not two ideas or three ideas. So, I go back to history, I look at history, and then I come back and say, okay, how do we go to the, for the future? And when you look at, NFL as a combination of two different leagues, figuring out they would be a lot more powerful becoming one league, right? AFC, NFC become NFL, and that made them really make the quantum leap. So what you don't want in this sport is you don't want one group tout one type of scoring, another group say, no, that's bad, you want this type of scoring. You want it to come together and serve everyone with one united thought process. Okay. So I think the sport is young. I think the phenoms that we have today are gonna be surpassed by phenoms we haven't seen yet. I think the incredible athletes who play basketball, NBA, or the incredible athletes who play, tennis, like a Nadal, Djokovic, or any other sport, they're yet to come in this sport. It's so new. Yeah. And I think it will shape, and people learn new shots, they get new rackets and new pedals. All of these things are going to evolve very, very rapidly. It's early. Yeah. But you just stay with it and you adapt and mold with it, but I think the sports is going to be here forever.
And when you were looking at the investment in Lifetime, you look at the professional landscape now, talking about the future. If you look 5 years into the future, maybe we'll actually take Lifetime first. What's the role Lifetime plays in the future of pickleball? And we're sitting here in February of 2027, 2028. What are you seeing?
I think there is a potential, and this is for debate. My prediction is that an incredible singles match between two female athletes or two male athletes may be as electric as the tennis equivalent in 5 years. It's not yet today, but I think it will be. Tennis was a single sport. They kind of came up with the doubles to make it more social. Pickleball has started as double, but I think the singles game will be incredibly electrifying. It's more work. You have to be good in the shots and athletic. It takes more to be great at singles, in my opinion, long term. So I think we're gonna see this thing potentially be an Olympic sport. We're gonna see it being the levels of other big entertaining sports. As a spectator sport, it can improve significantly from where it's at today. It has some work to do. From a spectatorship, it's, it can be deemed a little boring. But I think all of that is going to improve rapidly.
When you say, I agree with you on the boring thing, I think that is talked about a lot, and the spectator sport of it, and somebody going on TV or on YouTube to watch a pickleball match and they see a lot of people dinking, it often looks very easy. Obviously, I play at the professional level, and I've played Riley Newman, for example.
Yeah.
And when you see a dink from Riley Newman in person, it's a much different looking dink than it looks like it's on YouTube.
Yeah.
How does the sport do better at making it more engaging, more entertaining for the spectator, in your opinion?
Yeah. So I still think the nature of the dinking, which I'm horrible at, to be clear, so I don't want to poo-poo it.
It's harder than it looks.
It's harder than it looks. Yeah. And it takes such a expert level of touch that they've been working on, and strategy of how to hit it. I'm sure all the different things that they have mastered, to hit that in a perfection, will makes the game sort of fun to play and a little bit difficult to watch, right? Where I think that's why I'm saying to you, if you try to compare it to like a tennis match is okay to watch doubles, single match is the match you want to watch between two, amazing athletes. I think the single match is going to resemble more of a very, very athletic, very active, very fast, right? To game. That's why my bet is going to be on the singles. That it's going to be the one that will have a better spectatorship than the doubles. But the doubles is an amazing game. Like I'm just telling you, that's what makes it beautiful, because it brings people together in groups, and it's just nothing more fun.
Is there a story that you've either witnessed or been on court with that if you were talking about pickleball to somebody who hadn't played or a friend of yours, that moment that you experienced would be representative of like what the soul of pickleball is? Like, have you seen something? Have you heard something? Have you been a part of something that was just like, I gotta tell that story because that's what pickleball is all about?
Yeah. No, I the only thing that comes to my mind is the fact that, I have watched what brings people together and how hard it is for some of the athletic categories to actually, you have to go out of your way to make them social, right? Yeah. Pickleball was just social to begin with. I mean, you don't have to work at it. Yeah. So no, I just think it's fun. I really, I can't imagine there's going to be a week go by that I won't play pickleball.
Yeah. How many hours a day do you spend thinking about pickleball?
Well, it's not a fair question, because I think about it individually about going playing for myself, and then I think about our position with pickleball, right, in the country, and the growth of the strategy that we have with pickleball. So yeah, I probably think a little more than I should.
So we're talking like 18 hours a day here?
No. I have too many other things to work on, but it probably takes a good, chunk of my brain, a half hour, an hour a day. It probably goes to, our pickleball strategy.
Okay. A couple of quick hitters here. Favorite pro player to watch?
I think Riley is fun. Okay. He is just entertainer. Ben Johns is great because he, I was talking to some friends last night, and the way he described this is he's from a different planet. I think the game moves in a slow motion for Ben, so he has a different capability. I love Callie Smith. I love Lucy. There is just a lot of them that they are so amazing. They're good people. They're unassuming. They're fantastic athletes. So yeah, there's a lot of them. Jay is unbelievable. So Yeah, I love them.
Yeah, didn't say my name. I guess I'm not in the.
Are you in the?
I'm a budding player. No, you shouldn't be saying my name.
Are you winning? Are you in the top?
Winning what? Are you talking about matches?
Where are you at? Where are you?
About a year ago.
Did you go pro?
About a year ago, started trying to go pro.
Yeah.
So I started playing 4-0 on probably January of whatever last year was, 2021. And then I was working. That's where all my content started. I was like, let me document the process from never playing to going and playing professionally. Played basketball in college and got addicted to it and obsessed with it. And so started doing that. And then I've documented it. Like I have a weekly newsletter. I've documented it weekly for the last 59 weeks, I think. And just updating, and played 4-0, 4-5, 5-0, and started playing pro probably 3 months ago. So
and how did you
do? Doing better and better. Honestly, firstly, started getting blasted by everybody, and then this tournament here, I played Tyler Loon and Etta Wright in the first round, and we lost 13-11, 11-7, and then lost our back draw as well. Then the next day we played Daniel De La Rosa and Ben Newell and lost in 3, 11-8 in the third. So I'm in this place that
You're competitive now.
I'm competitive right now, but I'm not winning these matches yet. So I'm thinking, if I'm just going to make a prediction to the camera here, today's February, what's February 20?
How old are you?
29.
Oh, you're young.
Yeah, so Matt Wright's like 40.
You got a lot of time left.
I think Matt Wright's 47. So I got 20 years to medal at a PPA. So I think it's, and 20 years from now, if we're sitting here, we'll be saying my name at some point. But a few more questions here, then we'll wrap up. Favorite shots that you have in the game, what's your go-to?
Oh, I hit a lot of hard topspin shots.
Okay.
I have a backspin when you serve my return is a backspin and comes very low over the net, and it's hard to return it back. Because a lot of times, for people who play with me first time, at least 3 or 4 times they hit it right into the net.
Okay.
So. But I like to smack that ball.
Okay. I think that's probably part of what makes pickleball.
Right. I like to smash the ball.
Is there a pro player that you would compare your game to? Like when you think about.
I'm not in their league.
You're not.
I'm not close.
Even as you think, like I would like to do. I would like to hit a backhand dink more like Jay DeVilliers.
I like Tyson and Jay. I mean, I love that game they played here last year, the singles match.
Yeah.
That's what got me thinking the singles match can be electric, because I would go watch that all day. I watch every point. So I love to hit with you sometime before you leave.
Yeah.
To hit some single, so you can see how bad I am.
The singles thing is interesting. Being someone who I've defaulted doubles, I played a little bit of singles, but even just talking to pros around, like singles is so aggressive on your body. I mean, most of the pro singles players, or many of them, I should say, would say pro pickleball singles is more challenging and aggressive on your body than tennis because of the shorter court. It's more aggressive. The movements are faster. The ball's coming back quicker. So I don't know if they would agree I'd be curious to ask if they would agree in your take on singles being the future as opposed to doubles. And also thinking about how much the default for most people is doubles in rec play versus singles. A lot of that's court space. It's hard to go play singles on a rec court because you're going to get yelled at.
I'm willing to make a wager on that.
It'll
be fun.
$10. I'll bet against you on this.
All right, let's do a little bigger. So let's do some. We'll take all the pro players to dinner, you or me.
All the pro players.
Yeah.
What's the timeline?
The loser will take. I think it's going to take maybe 4 or 5 years. I think in 4 or 5 years, you're going to see again, I'm speaking specifically for TV entertainment.
Okay.
For TV entertainment. So you're talking about the sports being tough on you physically, right? Wears you out. You're gonna have more injuries. You're gonna have more wear and tear in a singles game than you have in doubles game, right? Mm-hmm. But look, I mean, did you know what pickleball was when you were 14?
No.
Okay, but now you're going to have 14-year-olds today, 12-year-olds. I went to the PPA tournament in Frisco. Yep. Weren't into it at all. It was windy. It was just wasn't my thing. But I won the first game. I played, guy who wasn't, as experienced as I was, even with the wind, it was easy to win. Then a second game showed walked in this little boy, looked like he was 9. And I'm sitting there going, hey, this can't be real. Like, I can't, play this kid. I can't beat up on him. I mean, it's not nice. How do I deal with this? He fucking crushed me.
What was the score?
Oh, he beat me 2 games. I mean, I didn't. It beat me like I had no chance. He was a very, very skilled tennis player.
Okay, not Hayden Patrick-Quinn.
No, I mean this kid was unbelievable. 9, 10 years old, and so I imagine some of those kids now, 10, 11, 12, if they get into pickleball, by the time they're like 18, they're going to be the Nadal of this sport. They're going to be the Alcaraz of this sport. And no, I really think it's just everybody is looking at what it is today. You're not looking at what it can be.
Yeah, and there might be more specialization too. I think that's a conversation point as the years go on, like a 9-year-old
and
kid
the
now.
shots that you can develop in single, right? Yeah. Because you have to think like tennis. You have to think about down the line. You have to think about cross court. You have to think passing shot. You have to think about how do you go around your other super athlete player that can get to everything, right? So I think it's a lot more. So the skill level, everybody's going to improve in doubles, right? At the end, it's going to be too close because it's just skill. But when you start adding skill to athletics, right? Being super fast, super quick, being able to cover, I think the single game will come from behind and win the trophy.
Really quick, take me to the moment of that you were tapping paddles after your match with that 9-year-old boy, and you were walking to the net. 2 questions. As you were walking, what was going through your mind? And 2, what did you say to him as you guys tapped paddles?
Yeah, if you know me, I never quit playing. I mean, I am relentless. I never give up. But in that match, I wasn't mentally into it. The wind was changing my shots. I'm so used to playing indoor Minnesota. I don't play a lot of outdoor, and that day particularly was very windy. The ball was going. So I wasn't into it, right? And at the end, and the kid was just a surprise to me because he was really, really, he didn't miss. He was right on. I mean, he was focused. His eye was on the ball. It was perfect. And so I knew he was going to win by the middle of the second game, right? But so no, I handled it well. I gave him a hug and told his parents that his kid was special. But that's not me. Usually I'm screaming. I'm not a good loser. Yeah. I was a good loser.
You were that.
I was a good loser that day.
Cool. So great. Yeah. Thanks so much. I know Cher had said, I don't know if you want to play. They reserved a court for us to hit some if you want. No pressure on it at all.
We'll play.